Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. 6. Everyday life in the Soviet Union. The shopping run around. The author, Hedrick Smith, was head of the New York Times office in Moscow from 1971 to 1974. The following passage is adapted from Mr. Smith's book, The Russians, which was published in 1976 by Quatrain or the New York Times Book Company. I had heard about consumer charges before going to Moscow, but only when we began to shop there did the Russian consumers' problems really have meaning for me. Customers the word overweight in lines, but Soviet lines have a special quality of their own. Typically, the Soviet woman spends 2 hours day in line, 7 days a week. Personally, I have known of people who stood in line 90 minutes to buy 4 pineapples and a half hours to buy 3 large heads of cabbage, only to find the cabbage were gone as they approached the front of the line. Lines can run from 4 yards to nearly a mile. Some friends of ours watched a line of people in Moscow sneak in up to buy rugs. The line lasts 2 days and nights and run for across all tough and apartment development. In spite of all of this, the natural reaction of a Russian woman when she sees a line forming is to get in immediately, even before she knows what is being sold. However, Soviet lines are more fluid than they appear. In most stores, for example, shoppers must stand in not one but 3 lines for any purchase the first. To select a purchase and find out its price. Second, to pay cashier somewhere else in the store and get a receipt. And the third, to go pick up the purchase and turn in the receipt. But in a dairy store, one morning I found out that the game is both simpler and more complex than that. I went in to buy simpler and more complex than sauce, which were in their department, each with its own line, ninth line. Rather quickly, though I noticed that experienced shoppers were skipping the first stage. They knew what most things cost, so they went directly to that too. Then I went to the cheese line. The longest, probably 20 people to get the worst over with first. I of me asked me to hold her place. She dashed off to see slowly that she got her butter and milk and ration before we had advanced their feet. I diced to make the rest too, and I got back with my butter while the cheese line was still in kind long. Then it suddenly occurred to me that all over the store people were getting into line, holding place, leaving, returning. Everyone was using the chest line, keep expanding in the middle. This competitive shopping keeps at some sort of tension to Russian life. People barge into store and bump into each other, which Faiz said in competitive expression. You have to understand, said a kind, grey-haired person, that for as long as we can remember, shopping has been a struggle. Life is a struggle. There is hardly any effective advertising to help shoppers. American company about the constant commer- commercials in the United States, but they might reconsider if they were exposed to the consumer blackout in Russia. Bravery is Witherspoon's load paid 80 to 120 monthly sellers class take a portion of attractive items and sell them secretly to regular customers who have either left a brief and advance or bequeathed on to pay high price on delivery. So common is this practice that the Soviet press is always complaining about it, but it doesn't do any good. The Soviet Hammer magazines once showed the department store employee promoting some newly arrived items. Their customers in the leather goods department, 500 import women's purses have been received. 450 of them have been bought by store employees. 39 are under the counter and have been ordered in the advance for France. One purse is in the display window. We invite to you visit the leather department to buy this purse. Oke, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.